at me like I was crazy. I tried re-explaining it, and he seemed like he got it, but then he told the mules to turn the framework the other way. He had no idea how the moli worked. Was he new to flour grinding? I hope so. Nobody with experience should be able to make that kind of mistake.
What's flour used for, anyway?
Porridge and bread.
Oh, how exciting.
Is she supposed to be sleeping?
Her, I'm fine with. But Festus is out cold too. That's not normal. Usually the head slave is the most...
I can explain, Pater.
Oh, Gaius, you're alive. I thought you'd had a close encounter with Medusa. You haven't moved except to eat your Wesperina.
My what?
Supper, boy. I know you're adopted, but that shouldn't mean you're...
You were saying, Gaius?
Well, you see, Festus has had a long day today. The fora were pretty hectic earlier. He had to do a lot of running around.
Aren't the forums...
Plural of forum is fora.
Right. Aren't the fora always hectic?
Well, yes, but today was especially crazy. Festus had to start at the Forum Suarium, because the pigs there were all salted, smoked, or honey-cured. They'd be able to last all day while he was buying the rest of the meat. Knowing this family, he probably got 3 of each. Actually...
Hey, Chloeus. I don't have time to chat. I need 5 honey-cured pigs, 2 salted, and 2 smoked.
Anyway, back to the story. Festus left the cart at home for some odd reason, so he had to carry all 9 pigs over his shoulders to the Forum Boarium. That's hard enough as it is, but then he found that the price of beef had doubled overnight at our usual vendor, and the other butchers weren't any cheaper. Halfway back home, he remembered that we had a couple guests coming over, so he hauled the pigs and the cow all the way back to the fora.
Talmudius! I'll take the Obeseus party special.
I don't see why that was so tiring. Festus has probably carried heavier things in his sleep. Have you ever tried carrying 3 times your own weight in raw meat halfway across the city of Rome? Point taken.
What about fish? Didn't Festus go to the Forum Piscarium?
No.
You see, we've got a private lake out near our other villa. Also, Aulus's brother, Sertor Lartius, owns a pair of ships at Ostia. We get all sorts of fish year-round.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I love fish. They come in so many shapes and sizes. Of course, there are the iconic fish, like tuna. Their scaly skin crisps up so nicely when the fish is roasted. There's nothing quite like a plate of cordula asa. Then there are those other icons of the sea. Mullet, bonito, bream.
Mullets are freshwater fish.
Can you teach me how to paint?
Moving on.
I find joy in the feeling of opening a metulus fresh from the sea. There's nothing quite like the meat of a well-ripened mussel. Speaking of shellfish, when was the last time we had prawns at this table? Or crabs? Sure, Locustus asas is a pretty nice appetizer, but lobster does tend to become very monotonous after a while.
How is he juggling all those live fish?
It's a cartoon. He can do whatever he wants.
Remember the eel Mater always served us?
Ah, yes. Every Wednesday we'd have Morena Asa. What a nostalgic experience it would be to eat roasted moray eel once again. And then there are the tentacled creatures. Squid being the most common, of course. Never quite enjoyed eating squid. The tentacles are a bit too long and that large beak just sort of gets in the way.
Now, let us not forget our good friend the cuttlefish.
Oh yes, the cuttlefish! That's a much more desirable cephalopod. Sepion coctum is one of my favorite cuttlefish dishes. I can only think of one better.
Stuffed cuttlebone?
Precisely! There's nothing quite like a stuffed cuttlebone.
Well, looks like that's the end of dinner.
Yep. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, kids, we better get to bed as well.
What about Secunda and Festus? They'll be fine sleeping here until morning.
Should I start the intermission?
Of course! Do you expect the audience to sit around waiting for us to wake up?
Who writes these jokes? They're terrible!
The same guy who animates us, so be quiet or he'll give you an awkward feature.
Like Alice's wrinkles? Ugh! See? I told you these jokes were terrible.
Quiet, the show's coming back on.
Alright, let's start this cycle of 4 off right.
4?
Yeah, 4 square meals every day. Intaculum, Prandium, Cana, and Vesperna.
What's prandium? It's this new meal in the middle of the day. Most people push Vesperna out of the way and just have Intaculum, Prandium, and Cana, but the Obeseus family has all 4. You really live up to your nomen, don't you?
Why do you say that?
No reason.
Has Secunda been here all night?
Yep.
Festus has too.
What do you suppose she's always dreaming about?
If she's anything like the rest of her familia, she's dreaming about food.
Isn't she a Neoplatonic vegetarian?
That's right.
Then she's dreaming about non-meats. Stuff like,
Whoa, who's that?
I don't know, it just seemed like a good icon for a Roman boy excited about food.
Secunda is a girl.
Let Aulus finish his ramble, Sextia. I'm interested.
She's probably dreaming about all those foods that don't have meat in them. Like,
Nuts! Nuts don't have meat in them. Filberts, almonds, pistachios, walnuts.
Bread doesn't have meat. It's just flour, water, and salt stuck in an oven for...
which type of bread?
Neither. Neither the fancy panis siligineus nor the coarse-grained panis plebeus have any meat in them.
What about pork?
Yes, Aulus, pork has meat in it.
Lentils don't have meat. Neither does asparagus.
Oil?
No meat in oil, just olives that went through the epitrium process. I love sun-dried black olives.
I prefer salted.
Black olives are gross. I like brine green olives.
How about chicken?
Chicken also has meat in it, Aulus.
Garlic!
That's right, Tertia. Garlic is a vegetable.
As are onions.
What about cancer? I mean, crab.
Shut up, Aulus! Then there's Secunda's favorite vegetarian food, pizza!
Huh, pizza. There's an idea that'll never catch on.
Where do we get the tomatoes for the sauce?
Pizza actually won't be invented for several hundred years. It was really just supposed to be a joke.
I told you these jokes were terrible.
Stop saying that before... Too late.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Would you look at that sundial? It's already time for today's Senate meeting. Goodbye, Sextia, Decimus, Prima, Secunda, Tertia, Lucius, Quintus, Maria, and Aulus.
You forgot the dogs, Potter.
Right. I'll see you when I return, Asparagus and Farce. I'll be back in time for Prandium. Welcome back, Pater. How was the meeting?
I smell a flashback. These jokes are getting worse.